Me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Lord, give me the courage to change the things I can change. Lord, give me wisdom to know the difference. And that was the Serenity Prayer. So basically, talking about that prayer is to let you know that some situations, like the ones that involve you, the ones that's basically everything that has to deal with you, you can change that. And the difference of it all is other situations, even the ones that don't involve you, you can also change. But at the same time, you can't change others. You can't jump in someone's head and just completely change their thought. People have control of themselves. Even the people with mental disorders and all that have some self-control. Everyone has a bit of self-control. Whoever has it, they use it every day, sort of to just function most of the time. Self-control helps people do that. But it is advised when you're talking about sort of situations where you can change people's ideas or hearts or whatever, is persuasion and oftentimes coaxing, or like you're cajoling people to, it's just persuasion to really do what you want them to do. But oftentimes life doesn't work that way. Things don't go the way you want them to. People don't act the way they want you want them to act. People they're unpredictable, but at the same time, we need them to survive. We need people, and we need ourselves, because that's what's living right now. The only thing that goes through everything that you go through with you is God and yourself. So you're always going to be here with yourself, and so is God. And when you think about that, I think as the whole world turns on its axis, I would say that the most important thing to remember is God is able. He can truly change the courses of history, or the way your situation is supposed to turn out. So if you pray about it, things will change. So it's not just accepting the things sometimes they put in there. Sometimes it's just praying about the things. People tend to change that first verse from accept the things. Sometimes you have to change it by praying. But truthfully, what's even more powerful is God's will. So, Lord, let your will be done, your kingdom come in earth as it is in heaven. But let's say letting God's will be done is probably the hardest thing that people could ever do. God's will, because God's thoughts are not our thoughts. His ways are not our ways. We cannot really understand all of these things about Jesus and the God that we've read in the Bible if we cannot understand about the will of God. The will of God wants people to be saved, but at the same time, by those means, it's not really by the means that we would traditionally even think of. So God's will is more, not to say ambiguous, but to our understanding, our own understanding, we won't be able to understand God's will in full because we are not God. And let's just say we're glad we're not God. We're glad. But really, back to the topic about control and all these things, praying about things help. But accepting things you cannot change is also very important, because oftentimes you will find situations where God's will is placed in the situation, and where, it can get you out of a place. What you wanted, what you think you needed, wasn't really what God's will was there for. So that's why sometimes we find difficult moments in life where we're just asking God hey, why did this have to happen? Why did this person have to die? Or why did I had to lose my house or my family? But sometimes, this is so God's will can be done. So the more you say the Lord's Prayer, or the more you say, Lord, let your will be done in my life, I mean, yeah, then be careful what you've asked or prayed for then. But you need to also worry about your own prayers, about things that you would naturally think about to pray for. Maybe you're praying for the wrong thing. Maybe it's just really best to pray for God's will all the time. Let it be done in your life. That's why it's called the Lord's Prayer. But it's so much bigger than what we see today. I mean, breath in our lungs, air in the lungs, all these kinds of things with how we're living right now. I mean, we tend to take the worst out of our life. But if we just look at in small steps, then, life is great all around. But sometimes it really causes, people to stress about a lot of things, like what's going on here and there. But some things, I mean, they can be changed through prayer. They can be changed with putting yourself in action. But don't worry about all these things that don't really concern you, like maybe someone else's relationships or even like that. But if you're in like the United States and your president is acting, if you're in a country and let's say a president named President Banana or whatever is acting funny, then you better go up there. President Orange or President Triangle is acting funny, and you better go up there and get on the altar and pray about it. Or you can march in the streets about it, or you can do all kinds of things about it. Even go to to a house where the president is and just verbally speak to him in a peaceful, Christian, godly manner, saying, probably not threatening the guy, but just talking to him on the level that he'd understand. Or a woman, I don't know. But, for matters that concern small matters or big, whatever they are, pray about it or just let it go. Don't stress on some of the things that you don't have to. Worry about yourself, stay in your lane, or react properly to it, stoicism or whatever. It's a good thing to practice. It's sort of like, not saying you're uninvolved with things, but you're not like always getting so overly emotional about certain situations that happen to you. But besides that, want everyone to have a great day. All right, peace.